Welcome to Terrace Neighbors, the Terrace House podcast. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Courtney.
And I'm so sleepy.
Oh.
Yeah, I woke up at like 3:30 this morning. My brain was like, you're up now.
Oh, wow.
You're just up. And I was like, okay. So that I started texting my friend about trees at 4:30 in the morning.
Wow.
Did some deep Googling. And now I'm tired.
Hey, well, on the flip side, it took me forever to fall asleep last night because I kept trying to figure out how duvets work, or a duvet cover. Well, I've always grown up with having, like, comforters and quilts, so I wasn't sure how, like, what's a duvet? What's a duvet cover? Why do some have zippers? Why do some have ties? How do you tie the ones with the ties? Do you buy a separate comforter for your duvet? Like,
do you have a duvet? Are you buying a duvet? Or is this just the existence of duvets kept you up?
Well, I wanted to buy some new bedding, and I just have a comforter. And so as I'm looking at new blankets and stuff like that, like, these duvet covers keep popping up, and it's like, well, what the heck is this? I don't own a duvet. What is that? And then I see the zippers, like, well, say I'm supposed to put something in there. Do I own that? Do I have to buy a new thing? So it's a comforter cover.
Yeah, it's a comforter cover.
Yeah, so I was just getting, I don't know. I think I was also too sleepy to comprehend. I called my mom today and talked about duvets and, like, how the heck does that work? What is this? And she kind of set me straight, but I still don't know for the types that are the tying, like, what do you tie to on the comforter? Do some of them have little, like, loops on the comforter?
You just tie it. You don't actually attach it to the comforter, but it fits so well that it stays together.
Oh, okay.
Because they're, like, the same size. Putting a duvet cover onto a duvet is my least favorite thing in the universe. But
well,
I've
watching the videos of it, it seems like it's a pain, but then they're like, oh, there's a secret burrito method you use to make it easier.
Burrito method?
Yeah, like you roll it.
I've just been climbing into the duvet cover like I'm trying to get to Narnia, like some kind of fool.
Oh, no, they turn the duvet cover inside out, and then they roll up the comforter with it, like a burrito, and then you kind of, like, flip it over it again, and then you just shake it out. And there you go. I don't know, look up some videos or something. Like, I don't even know what a duvet cover was before, but I can tell you about the burrito method, I guess.
You're already better at duvets than I am, and you've only just figured out what they are.
I might buy one day, but I don't know yet if I'm ready.
They are nice. You can wash them, and you can swap out the designs regularly if you want. You can get multiple duvet covers, and then just change them up with your moods, but still have your same
comforter without them buying a bunch of different blankets.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just, you know, I'm looking at them, and, like, one of them looked as like $40, which I guess it really isn't that expensive, but I don't know. I was expecting more blanket with it, like it's just all the blanket comforter. I think I just want a comforter. I don't know.
All right.
Which has nothing to do with the episode 8, Late Night Poolside. I was actually really excited seeing the title, because in my head, I thought we were going to get a pool scene late at night and a lot of, like, different music-y swimsuits. That's what I was excited about.
And I know how much you love the pool.
I do. I really do.
So
I actually didn't go today, though. I'm going tomorrow.
I have not been in the pool since you visited, like, 2 years ago.
Oh, really? Wow.
Who goes to the pool? It's too hot. Just stay inside.
I was like, isn't that the point? Because it's hot?
Yeah, but then you have to walk outside to get to the pool. If you just stay inside in front of the fan, you don't have to go outside.
I mean, that is true. Although I have contemplated buying a kiddie pool and then putting it in my backyard.
Honestly, me too. It was very hot the other day, and I was just like, how much is a kiddie pool at, like, Target?
I don't know. Well, for, like, the fancy ones that look like a donut, they're expensive. But if you just want some cheap one, it might be only like $20, I'm guessing.
Oh, but now that you've mentioned donut, I only want a kiddie pool if it's shaped like a food item.
Well, they might be on sale going into fall, so you might be, like, prime kiddie pool buying season.
So I bought a new swimsuit, and I haven't had a chance to you wear it.
Well, here you go, and an idea. You buy that donut. You buy yourself that donut kiddie pool, blow it up, fill it up, and then you can have, like, mimosas in your backyard while you're in the pool or something.
Courtney, you have the best ideas. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about episode 8, called Late Night Poolside, recapping the recap.
I like that everyone is recapping how Makoto's being a buttface.
Oh, yeah. They're talking about the fight. Mm-hmm. They think that Uchi's being reasonable. They're definitely on Team Uchi.
Yep.
They talk about, Yeah, how like Makoto has a bad habit of talking badly about people.
Yeah, I liked how Yamasato's the guy with glasses, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I should know his name when he's like my favorite person, but I always forget. It felt good where he's like, Makoto's being so lame for talking bad about people. It's like, that's how I feel. He's being lame. He's not cool anymore.
I know they're very critical on everybody today. They also say that like Yuriko is just sticking with Yuki for entrance tickets to places.
Oh yeah.
So they start calling him like Chiketo-san.
Mr. Ticket.
Yeah.
No longer Mr. Tap. Poor guy.
But I don't know. We'll come back to that later. But so yeah, they're very... Uchi's okay. The other girls are fine. Yuriko and Makoto, they're all a little...
They're just trouble.
On the fence. They're on trouble. But yeah, so we open the episode and we have Minori and Yuriko in the girls' room and they're talking about Makoto.
Oh yeah, because basically before, Makoto and Yuriko had been talking and Makoto had said, oh no, when I saw Minori getting ready for her date with Uchi, like, oh, maybe I'm not really into her anymore, which kind of gives Yuriko the feeling like, oh, okay, I have a chance. But it turns out that, like, immediately, I guess, after that happened, he texted Minori, being like, I talked to Yuriko about this, and actually, it's not true, I'm into you. Like, what the heck? Yeah. What's your problem?
So Minori starts a conversation by saying that, like, she used to be impressed by Makoto, like, especially, like, when he was saying that he was going to get serious about baseball again, but then she sees him and he's, like, staying up late and snacking all the time and, like, getting in fights with the other boys, and so she's sort of, like...
Yes, words and actions don't really match up.
So she doesn't think very highly of him, and then she tells Yuriko, that he texted her about their conversation that ended the last episode when they were in like what they call the playroom.
You can't talk to Makoto about anything. He'll tattle to whoever the opposite party or whatever.
He needs to work on like his boundaries.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, like I can't like because he was being sort of critical of Minori of being like, hey, I said these things, I don't want you to find out like secondhand. I guess. But that doesn't sound like that's the way that it happened. Like I feel like a lot of what Makoto does is reasonable. If it were done by somebody else. Yeah. But because it's him and he has no tact or empathy, it like falls apart. Like like the thoughts aren't inherently bad, it just doesn't.
The execution is not there.
Yeah, he just blabs all of his secret conversations, and boy needs to work on that.
Yeah, he needs a little bit of work.
Yeah, and like he tells Minori that he regrets telling Yuriko that he doesn't like her, but then so he wants to hang out again. And I'm like
what Minori said, like, what does he want? Like, what do you want out of this?
Is he playing the field? Like, does he genuinely not know what he wants?
Yeah.
It's so confusing.
No. Well, everything, it seems like more and more like everything that Makoto's doing is really ambiguous or it's not clear. And yeah. And then he was also being bad. He was smoking.
Honestly, like the editing on this show is so tight. They really do because they cut straight to him like sitting out in the dark smoking and like texting on his phone like right after he's been established as this serial texter. Yeah, he was just constantly like talking to the girls behind the other girls' backs, and so like I don't know, it's like they make so much emphasis on the fact that there's no script, but they do seem to edit it into like a very cohesive,
make you think. I don't know, to make you think a certain way or kind of like, oh, it just happens. He's texting and smoking and looking bad on his phone and then he's doing this. So
which we talked about before, like that, you know, if they mention they're going to, like, they want to eat this or there's this happening, they'll show it happening later in the episode, which I guess isn't that different from American reality TV. I guess it's sort of like famous that people sometimes will be edited to be a villain character when they're not necessarily... Like, people will come off of reality shows and be, like, really frustrated with the way that they were depicted.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, I just wonder about that, because I feel like they portray it as they're like, well, there's no script at all, it's just people in a house. And I feel like if you come at it comparing it to American reality TV, you're like, okay, so they just set up a camera and let them do whatever. It's more hands-off. But I think if you're comparing it to, like, what Japanese TV usually is, which is scripted.
Right. It's pretty different that way.
Yeah, so it's probably still really heavily edited.
Right. Because
it is so perfect that you have this moment with Minori and Yuriko talking about him texting.
The timing is too good to be true.
Yeah. And then they just have this little quiet moment where he's smoking and he's texting, and it's like they've been talking about how says he wants to be serious about baseball, but he's like, not sleeping well, and he's not eating well, and he's not like staying in shape, and probably smoking's not the best for your baseball lungs.
Yeah, it's probably bad.
Probably need to be able to breathe a little bit better. I'm no doctor.
Also, I don't get why he's always, again with texting, but he's always texting like the important things or all this stuff when he probably should just talk to them. I don't know.
I mean, it's safe.
True.
Like, so you can just text from your bed, and if they say no, it's fine.
Or I guess from his case, the couch.
Yeah. And especially if we're trying to think of the worst of him, and he is being sort of manipulative and trying to keep two girls interested at once.
Mm-hmm. I guess it would be easier over like text message.
Yeah, it's such tight quarters. Mm-hmm. Like if he called someone over to talk, everybody else would know.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. So the next scene,
the boys are having dinner, right?
No, Uchi's at work.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah, Uchi's at work. I love this scene so much because it's Uchi, like 23-year-old Uchi, and a bunch of like these older women who are probably like all in their late 20s or 30s or maybe even early 40s. Because it's like the owner of the salon and like the manager of the salon and like his bosses.
I like that they watch the show.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about this episode is we start seeing them talk to people in their own personal lives, but the first couple episodes have already aired because I think the first 3, because they do mention that Yuki gets backlash on
Twitter or something.
On Twitter,
right?
About how he treated Mizuki. So at least the first 3 episodes are aired. So it's like they talk about the other people and in the house, and the people they talk to like have context.
Yeah,
because they've seen it. I mean, he does like very politely, like, okay, well, if you do watch the show, like
you get to know the answer when you watch the show if you want,
which
that would
was
be cool
very
or whatever.
fun, like using this like humble, hyper polite Japanese, like itadaite, like like yoroshiku onegaishimasu, like talking about the show that he's currently filming. But I love this scene with he's talking about them because they tease him so much, they give him so much crap.
Is he the only guy that works in that salon? I mean, I guess maybe at that hour or timing or something. It seems like he is.
I mean, he might be, he might not be, but this is very funny. Like, he mentions there's guy trouble, and they're like, guy trouble? And
oh, my goodness.
And then, like, they tease him because everyone likes Makoto and not him.
Yep.
That is very good. But yeah, so he just, he talks about how they're not going to compromise, he and Makoto, because they're stubborn.
Two stubborn boys.
Yeah.
Having boy problems.
And then we take a step back and they talk about, the hosts talk about it.
I forgot about this part with the hosts and what exactly they said.
They kind of recap. The basic consensus is that Uchi's looking more and more decent compared to Makoto.
Oh, that's right. And then Yamasato was like, oh, God, I said I hated him at first, but now he's a good guy.
And what kind of put me off was, like Ayumi, like the actual child, like understood, like Makoto's, like, gross Playboy manipulations where he was, like, texting around. I was just like, oh, I'm not comfortable that you understand this that well. Gross. But I've noticed that with these moments, Yamasato is, like, the translator. Like, because they jump to him and he's like, everyone's like, Yamasato, explain what's happening right now. Like, he's very perceptive, and he explains people's actions and their motivations.
Well, it seems like whenever they do the jump to the host, he's always, like, the first one to start talking, the first to explain or give his opinion and all that, too.
And this time they were actually like, okay, tell us. Like,
yeah, please explain. Ahead. Please explain me.
I don't know, it just reminded me of, like, those phone calls we used to have. Like, when we were in college, where we would just talk on the phone for, like, 2 or 3 hours until, like, my ear hurt from holding the phone up to my ear. But I remember, like, we would just, like, talk about our classmates and our friends and be like, why is he doing this? And then we would, like, just kind of break down our friends' behavior.
I mean, it was fun, though. I mean, that's why I did it for 2 or 3 hours at a time.
Yeah, but it's also, like, especially, like, if there's something that you and I didn't quite understand the motivation behind, like, the other person would be, like, explain it. It would sort of be, like, the psychology translator about, like, maybe perhaps this is why so-and-so's doing this or thinks this way, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Think about some of the drama that we had going on in college, and I just get tired.
So much drama.
But now we're at dinner.
Okay, now dinner. I was too excited to eat, I guess.
Yeah.
But this is the part where Uchi tells them about Twitter and basically the backlash at Yuki for being a butthead.
It's the 3 boys. They're getting, like, nabe, I think. Look like nabe.
It's kind of something like that.
I want to eat nabe.
It's too hot.
I'm hungry. I don't care.
Like, come back into, like, the more fall time, winter time. I'll be all down, but right now it's, like, it's too humid right now.
I don't know. For some reason, I got, like, they kept saying things in really funny ways that I took, like, there were a lot of funny line deliveries this episode. Mm-hmm. So I took note of, like, when the hosts are talking, and Yamasato's talking to Ayumu, and he kind of leans back, and he goes, like, chi, ga, u.
Oh, yeah, when he slowed, yeah.
Ne? And then, and then when I think Yuki or somebody or Uchi gets there, like, one of the other guys goes, hey, kimashita, yo! And
oh, yeah.
It just made me laugh, some of the delivery that they do. But yeah. So they the 3 of them eat dinner, and they talk about Twitter.
And then, let's see, they talk about Twitter, how he was a butthead. Then Yuki's starting to become more and more, like, leaning towards my favorite, because he talks about issue that's been bothering me for a while. How no one should be sleeping in the living room.
Yeah.
It's a shared space. Mm-hmm. Everyone should be able to use it. Like he says, I agree. Like, I can understand, like, you take a nap or something every now and then in the middle of the day or whatever, but, like, they're, like, sleeping there overnight and stuff like that into the morning, and
it's becoming a thing. Like, before it was just, like, Makoto and maybe Minori, but now, like, everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, those neutral spaces are important when you're living with so many people, especially when you're sharing a bedroom.
Like, I don't know if they have a TV, because I haven't ever seen them actually watching TV in that living room. I don't think there is one. But, I don't know, still, I just think, like, if you want to go and sit there and, I don't know, have a coffee or just be able to sit in the living room and read a book or something, it just seems like it'd be awkward if there's someone, like, just sleeping there from the night before. Mm-hmm. So. Because
then you make it your own space and no one else can, like, because they don't want to wake you up.
That, and then, what's wrong with your bed that you don't want to sleep there? That's what I also want to know, too. Like, what's wrong with it?
It does look like a really comfortable couch.
I mean, it does. It really does.
Yeah, I wonder about that. Probably, like, wonders if it's, like, I feel like there's a certain degree of, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like sleeping in a public space, it asserts you in the room, but you can be passive. Whereas if you're, like, napping in your bedroom all the time,
you're just not involved, I guess.
Yeah, you're just not involved. They'll be like, where's, like, Minori? I haven't seen her in 3 days. It's like, oh, she's been napping a lot.
Right. And so it's not like you're really going to get bothered in the room,
but when you're in
versus
the living
if you're
room,
on the,
you're in the middle of it, you can wake up and do stuff, but then also people can see you sleeping, your cute sleeping face.
True.
Or something. I don't know. I wouldn't do it.
I don't know. I toss and turn and move around a lot, so I don't think I'd look too cute all sprawled out on the couch, taking up all the space. I got long legs.
I do this weird thing where I bundle. I pull all the covers up around my head to have as much, like, to, like, burrow around my head, and then my bare legs stick out.
Nice.
But, like, when I have shared a room with my old roommate once when I visited, and I woke up and she had piled a bunch of blankets on me because she thought I was cold. Aww. I was like, no, I just sleep weird.
Aw, that was so sweet, though.
Yeah, but it's not an elegant way of sleeping. It's like just a big pile of blankets and then feet sticking out, which I guess is sort of how Minori
it kind of was later. Yeah, that's how she was, just some little feet poking out.
I also thought it was interesting when they talk about Twitter that they're on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, because I was poking around and I found Mizuki's Instagram page, and I kind of went back before the show was filming. So they all have, like, social media accounts. Mm-hmm. But you would think that they would be told not to be on social media?
I guess. I don't know if there's really any, like, spoilers about the show. There's no script, well, so...
There could be spoilers. Not. Like, if you post pictures, you know, like, that could be spoilers. But I think also just, like, engaging with people. Mm-hmm. I don't know, like, because especially if they're, like, if they're editing the show to tell a certain narrative and then like
you tweet about something that breaks that narrative. Okay, I can see that.
It's just interesting because I think it's that we keep coming back to like that American reality TV conventions where they do like isolate you completely. Can't talk to anybody, like can't even like call home sort of thing.
Yeah, no family, no outside friends.
And I get that this is a lot more laid back because they're still going to school and work and that sort of thing. So obviously you can't stop them from using their smartphones. But
well, I wonder if Uchi was if that was like his personal Twitter or if they have a general, like, you know, the Terrace House Terrace House.
I mean, it
Twitter
could be, or it could be
they were reading on.
He had a friend who's just checking.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I have a friend who will sometimes Google us and like just link me to like Reddit discussions where we're mentioned.
Oh.
Because it's like, okay, you're my like secretary.
Nice.
But yeah, where are we? Let's
see. So it's like, I think we're still talking about the boys having dinner and the living room.
Well, we have two kind of parallel stories going on.
Right.
We have the boys at dinner, and then we have the girls in their room, and we kind of cut back and forth between the two, and it's kind of like that summer lovin' scene in Greece where like they kind of end up talking about the same things a little bit.
Yeah, because I did like how they did the editing for this.
Yeah. Tell me more. But yeah, so like Yuriko and Minori, I like the communication between the girls. They're so good at it.
It's been so good. Now that after they got past their, their little bump, it's been really good.
Because like Yuriko starts to tell Minori about the conversation at the cafe, but she stops herself and like looks at Mizuki and she's like, "Is it okay?" And Mizuki's like, "It's fine," but then like gives her a look like, "Tread lightly," sort of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they talk about the conversation at the cafe, and she says that her feelings have changed, I assume, since then, where she was talking about like, "Let's go, I still like Makoto, let's go see him practice."
Yeah, no, definitely her opinion's changing, because she talks about how he says like, "Oh, I'm gonna, really practice and work really hard about, get serious about baseball," but then no one's seen any of the actual effort.
Yeah, which like, I don't know, maybe it's just the editing in the show, but I feel like Yuriko is sort of easily influenced. I feel like she kind of goes with the flow and follows the leads of like the general consensus or opinion of like, she goes along with Yuki during the Mizuki incident. And then like, later we'll come back and be like, "Oh, actually now that you mentioned, I did think it was a little mean, but," and then like Makoto.
I was gonna say, she's basically just copying exactly what Minori said earlier when they had their conversation. So
I mean, it could be that like a day's passed and she's thought about it and she's agreed with it, but it's also sort of like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about like sort of Makoto's hypocrisy, kind of how dishonest he is, like about his baseball, and then like what he actually does, like talking about like when he's at practice and the stuff that he's doing to try to become he's trying to become like pitcher or something.
Yeah, something pitcher. Like that, like first string or something.
Yeah, like versus what he actually does. And like Mizuki mentions that he just has a lot of excuses. Like she mentions that she tried to bring up them going to a practice to watch him play, and he was like, "Oh, well, they took me off the bench for some dumb reason." And then
so I'll just be only practicing and not actually like playing or something like that.
And then they cut to Makoto at the restaurant, and he's talking about like how his elbow hurts, and so because they're asking like, "Well, how's your baseball stuff?" He's like, "Oh, it's fine, but he gets pushed back because I have this elbow pain." It's like, that's just an excuse.
Yeah, well, I like that Uchi really does call him out on it. It's like, we want to support you, and well, I mean, and Yuki chimes in too, but I feel like Uchi's the one that really like calls him out. It's like, well, we see you're staying up late, you're drinking, you're smoking, you're doing this, you keep saying you want to be first string pitcher, but I haven't seen the effort. And the thing is, if you don't want to do it, fine, you don't want to do it. But if you want to do it right. Because we want
to be honest about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it just kind of struck me how interesting it is how like invested they all are in like Makoto being true to his word and making an effort. Because I just try to think about like the roommates I've had and the roommates that my friends have. It's like people are usually a little more hands-off, and
it's like, oh, it's your life, do whatever you want.
And I wonder if that's because roommates in the States usually are kind of forced together out of necessity, like because we literally can't afford to not have roommates. Whereas like in this case, and I think a lot of cases, like if you do live like rents in Tokyo can be expensive, but they can also be really cheap. It's very easy to live on your own in Tokyo or in the area around it.
Well, I feel the whole appeal with share houses and stuff like that is that you get to live with other people, get to know other people, be a part of their lives. So I think it's a different kind of mindset behind it.
Yeah, it's like a novel concept compared to like here, where it's like if you're under 30 and now even well over 30, like of course you're going to have roommates. You're going to have so many. You're going to be, 5 people to a 2-bedroom apartment. But I wonder if it's like because usually like you don't have roommates, you usually either live alone or you live with your family, that they're more used to sort of emulating like a familial type of relationship with the roommates. Yeah,
maybe, yeah.
Because like they do eat all their meals together, and like they seem to be a lot closer knit,
right? The girls take baths together, so little family.
Like we had a group of friends who, like, we used to call them the amoeba because they would do everything together.
Oh, yeah.
So if one person had to go to the post office, all 4 of them would go to the post office. And they would do all their grocery shopping together. And it lasted longer than I thought it was going to last.
No, it was a while. Because weren't they all in the house together for a bit, too?
Yeah, cool. Because, like, whenever I would start a roommate situation, it was just the once, but, like, you get it. It was always like, well, we'll go grocery shopping together so we don't get, we'll coordinate. Who's calling me? Go away. I don't recognize the number. Sorry. So, like, when I first moved in with my roommates, we talked a lot about, like, going grocery shopping together and, like, planning, like, a meal thing and being like, well, maybe we'll cook together. It never happened. We had different schedules.
Right.
And it was also, like, we were all really introverted, so it was like, leave me alone. Like, let me be in my own space.
I guess I kind of lucked out, because I was going to have roommates, but then that fell apart and I ended up being on my own. So it was, my whole time I was over there, I didn't have a roommate.
Yeah. So, like, because I wonder about that. Like a lot of the people I know who have roommates now, it's like they're friendly with them and they'll sometimes, like, hang out and, like, maybe watch movies or they'll have, like, a party together. But they're not like this where they're, like,
always going, like, they're always going out to dinner and doing all these things together. So.
And, like, I get that's part of the show. Like, you only have so much time, so you better make the most of it.
Right.
Especially if you, like, want to continue to see these people outside of the house. But it's also, like, the American part of me is like, who cares if Makoto's, like, being a hypocrite? Like, roll your eyes and close the door and, like, resent him behind his back and trash talk him. That's the American roommate way.
Not talk to him to his face and try to make him a better person. What are you doing?
No way. That's for girlfriends, not platonic roommates. But yeah. Okay, so then next we jump to Tokyo University. We see Yuriko in her home habitat for the first time.
With all her little friends.
Yeah. So they get lunch. And I wonder when the timing is for this. Like, if it's chronological or if they kind of shift things out of order to make more sense.
Well, because they always say, like, week 8, so I wonder if they're taking different, splicing the days from that whole week into one episode.
Or if it is, like, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, like, cutting
just
throughout.
Just a few days, yeah.
Because, like, Yuriko still thinks that Makoto, like, that Minori is the one that Makoto likes.
Well, I mean, that's what Makoto said, basically.
I mean, that is what he said, but it's like, really? After that conversation you had where you're like, you think he's playing the two of you? Like, your takeaway is that, like, oh, he really just likes Minori. I'm like, no, that's not, it's too simple. Yeah. He's doing something else. They have lunch.
It's just she talked about Makoto, and then she also talked about Yuki, and he got some positive, mention.
Yeah, she says that he's, like, easy to talk to.
Fun to hang out with, would want to hang out with again. And then she also mentions about how she's never asked anyone out. So I'm wondering if she does actually try, because she did mention she wanted to try. I wonder if she's going to try asking out Yuki or Makoto.
No, I think she meant Yuki. I think Yuki? That they had switched conversation topics to Yuki at that point.
Well, hopefully it's Yuki. I think he'd be the better choice. But
yeah, she said she's never asked anybody out before, but she was like, maybe I'll ask him out. Sasok de miru. But yeah, and then we cut back to the house.
And this is where we have Minori sleeping on the couch with Uchi, right?
Yeah. So I had written Uchi sitting next to this lump with human feet, which I think is Minori.
Oh.
Because it is. She's just like a big lump. It's really funny because she's this giant lump in the corner of the couch, and he's sitting like right next to her, like not even on the other couch.
No, he's just like
a
right there.
Around. He's like, and he's sitting so straight and politely.
I do like how everyone comes in or comes like when everyone's coming home each.
Yeah, Mizuki gets home and she has roll cake.
Yes.
But I wonder what kind of roll cake it is. It looked kind of black. So, I wonder if it was like a really dark chocolate or if it was like
wondering
sesame.
That too. Yeah, at first I thought it was chocolate, but then after I thought about it, I agreed. It was like really black. I wonder.
I mean, I don't know, when I see sesame treats, they tend to be tends to be like gray with like sort of with black spots, not entirely black. I wonder if it was like squid ink, like that burger at Burger King.
Maybe. Yeah. Got some squid ink. Delicious.
Mm-hmm. So Mizuki gets home.
Then Yuriko joins. Or no, Yuki. Yeah.
Yuriko and Yuki join them too. So it's everybody like but Makoto.
I honestly thought, like, since it was all of them but Makoto, that they were gonna talk about him.
Yeah, but
and I was surprised that they didn't.
Yeah, instead they. I mean, honestly, I feel like it's the most roommate-y thing they've done on this show. Yeah, is being like, since we're all here, let's have a house meeting about no more sleeping on the couch.
While someone is sleeping on the couch. It was great.
Yuriko's kind of flops on her, and even that was roommate-y. It was just lighthearted and like but familiar, and they're eating like roll cake, and Midori wakes up and the first thing she's like, I want to eat that, and they're like, what?
I related to it so much because like, Minori, wake up, we gotta discuss something, huh? We gotta discuss about not sleeping on the couch. Yeah, okay, I want to eat that though. Points at it.
And Uchi keeps calling her like Boya or like our kid.
I thought that was super cute too.
It was really cute.
Don't wake up the child.
But the hosts agree with you. They're like, well, maybe it wasn't the house meeting that they're talking about. I think they were probably referring to the dinner, but they were like, how come you're talking about like the couch and Twitter backlash
when this bigger problem, I guess, like, kind of problem is there?
Yeah, like it's the three boys. Here's your chance to like talk about it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I feel like dinner's kind of not a good place to hash out stuff like that. Yeah. And then they kind of hypothesize that Yuki's kind of backing off because he got like Twitter backlash to him being so critical of Mizuki. So now he's like trying to be more laid back and light and isn't like being as opinionated. Mm-hmm. They were like disappointed, but I personally am like, I like this new Yuki.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot better.
It's okay to not, hurt people's feelings really bad, and you don't have to be the villain.
I feel like it's natural to like be to be to a certain degree judgmental of like, the people you live with. Yeah. I feel like a lot of those thoughts are natural and they can't really be helped. Mm-hmm. It's choosing to vocalize them. Yeah. That's the issue. But yeah, the hosts talk about that. Apparently Yamasato is like apparently famous for like getting in big celebrity Twitter fights.
I guess so. I mean, but honestly, he seems like the type.
He does.
Just from how we've seen him on the show.
It's so bizarre to me, though, because, like, I don't follow very many Japanese celebrities. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I honestly was not as aware that there were as many of them on Twitter, because I feel like when we were there, and I was really, like, conscious of celebrities and that pop culture, Twitter still wasn't quite as big of a thing.
Well, I didn't have a Twitter, I think, till it came back to the States. However, I do know while we were there, I was with a friend. We're at like her favorite bar, restaurant, izakaya, whatever. And on TV, Lapta came on. And apparently, Japanese Twitter, or I don't know if it's all connected or whatever, but it shut down because so many people were trying to tweet about Lapta being like broadcasted on TV after like years or something like that. Oh, yeah. Or maybe I did have a Twitter because there was a fail whale. When I tried to check on Twitter, there was a fail whale. I was like, there's too much stuff going on. Can't load Twitter. Fail whale. Oh boy. Lapta. How could you?
I remember that. Yeah. But I don't know. I just feel like there weren't quite like I know people were on it, but I feel like celebrities weren't on it.
Probably not. Yeah.
But I mean, that was sort of the case too with like American celebrities too. I remember when Vine was still a thing. Like my introduction to it was like celebrities using Vine, and it was like weirdly casual because people were not using Twitter accounts as like personal accounts. They were using it to like tweet about stuff, like, you know, promotional
as
stuff.
As a PR or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I feel like in the early 2010s, blogs were still kind of the primary way for like celebrities to have an online presence. I used to translate like idol blogs on Tumblr all the time because they're like really simple. Like the writing's not complex, and it's mostly emojis. It was like idols and people, actors would have blogs like on like Amiiblo or something like that, but they didn't necessarily have like Twitter. I feel like Kyari Pamu Pamu was kind of the first.
Yeah, because I know I still follow her. So
I still follow her, and she's like, but she's the first person who kind of, that I was aware of, like as a celebrity, who actually uses it like a normal person, who's just like, I like sharks, and then posts videos from her going to karaoke and photos with her friends. I follow some idols on Twitter, but they do tweet occasionally, but it is mostly like
PR.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be at this event, I come to this concert, or like I'm in this stage play, that sort of thing.
Okay.
You know who has a really good Twitter account?
Who?
Akimoto Sayaka from AKB48.
Really?
She tweets like social justice stuff. She's like really involved with like LGBT rights in Japan.
Oh, wow.
So like she always tweets like political stuff and gives really good commentary. She has a good Twitter account.
That's interesting. I would have never known.
But now I'm like, I should start following the hosts on Twitter because apparently things get rowdy.
Yeah.
Was not aware.
Oh, and then let's see what else with that scene. I know Minori gets sent back up. She gets sent back to her bed.
Yeah.
Boya has to go sleep in her own bed, and
like a big girl.
Yeah, and then I think it goes to the next morning. Yeah, it was in the kitchen, and I think I was just more surprised because, you know, Yuki's there washing the dishes. Minori comes down and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll wash. You know, I used some of those dishes from last night. I'll help wash. But he basically already did it all. But I think it just stood out to me because it felt like it was the first time seeing Minori and Yuki together by themselves, just kind of talking about stuff.
Yeah, they've never really talked before, and it was kind of awkward. Like, I really don't think that Minori is. I don't think she's very outgoing, and
she's not.
She's sort of like Yuriko. I don't think she converses very well. Because she's like, it was the classic Minori. She was just sitting there like in silence, kind of like looking at him expectantly, or like smiling at him.
I mean, mostly all I remember her really saying is like, oh, sorry. And he's like, oh, because he's a little asking like, did you sleep okay? Were you okay? I was worried you weren't okay after, you know, we sent you away off the couch.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, what? Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, and
like,
what? They sit down, and I think he's trying to ask like what the reason for her sleeping down, because he's like, is everything okay?
Yeah.
Like, you're feeling fine? You're not getting in fights with the other girls?
Right.
I think he was trying to like
find a deeper meaning behind her sleeping on the couch when it was just she just wanted to sleep on the couch, probably,
but I also feel like if you are going to sleep on the couch when you have a perfectly good bed upstairs, I think that's also there. I mean, there is going to be a degree of like motivation. It could be you know, not wanting to, you know, be in this communal space, or like not in a communal space, but like,
I don't want to be in the bedroom with so and so at this time because we're awkward or something like that.
Or
maybe
sometimes also like, I don't know, I feel like if you're in your bed and you're sleeping in your bed, and like you're kind of like, I'm gonna go to sleep, and then people come in, they turn on the light and they do other stuff, I can see that being like irritating.
Okay.
Whereas if you're like taking a nap on the couch, like it's sort of assumed that people are gonna like do stuff around you. I don't know.
Right. Okay. No, I can see that.
But yeah, and then we go to, I think maybe later in the day, and the girls are
yeah, they're in their room. Ooh.
Yeah. Mizuki has perfect hair.
As always.
And she does it herself. She's a witch.
Oh, there's one part we forgot with the hosts that they were talking about. Because they mentioned how Uchi, when he had been talking to the ladies at the salon, he had decided on a girl who he liked, I guess, the most or whatever.
Oh, I missed that completely.
Yeah. So they were just talking about that, and they're like, ooh, okay, well, hopefully we're going to see that. We're going to see it soon or something.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's
and they voted.
That's why Dana, like, raised her hand. She's like, I'm going to vote for Yuriko.
I voted for Minori.
Really? I honestly, probably thought that they're going to go for Yuriko. Honestly, I was hoping for Mizuki because I thought they have, like, really nice chemistry.
Yeah.
And they look really good together. I would have put my money on Yuriko. even because like I think we talked about like that classic thing, like all of my moves work except for on you, sort of thing. But yeah, so we have the girls and they're sitting around, and like Mizuki does her own hair, like
what
she
was
dyes
the
it
dye
herself.
they used? I forget what it was called.
It's something like putty, not putty.
It was like Color Puff. It had a funny name, but
Oh,
not
yeah,
that funny.
But it's like it's this really common hair dye brand that you just like over the counter. That's like foam, or at least like it looks like it. It's like it's really thick. Like usually if you dye or bleach hair, it's more like kind of shampoo quality, and you like brush it on. This is like really thick and puffy.
Well, I learned what I wanted to know about the hair dye because I just assumed you would already know what it was like or anything, because I've never dyed my hair. Now I know.
Well, I used to see it, like I never used it because you shouldn't use like very different hair types. I shouldn't, terrible things have happened to people with like thin Caucasian hair if they've used like bleach or hair dye meant for like coarser hair, because it is really rough. Bleaches your hair fast though. I'm sure my salon used a formula that maybe was not best for my hair type, but it was effective. But yeah, so she dyes it herself, which like I've never dyed black hair to that shade of brown before, but I imagine there is some bleach involved.
I would assume, I guess.
You can't just put brown hair dye over black. It won't show up as clearly as it does. And I am like, I have so much awe and respect for people who bleach their own hair, because those are some really harsh chemicals you're putting on your head, and you can't really see very well. But her hair looks so good.
Yeah.
It's bouncy.
Although a potential second, like, kind of Uchi date or something, bonding moment, if he gets a chance to do her hair. Because that's what she said. She wants him to do her hair.
He said that he was busy, so she did it herself, but she wants him to do her hair. See, that's what it's... But yeah. But then Uchi comes in, and he asks to talk to... Minori, which is a twist. The rose ceremony begins. Uchi has gone on solo dates with all the contestants, and he's ready to...
He's picked his girl.
To go to the next round. Yeah, so now we get our poolside conversation.
What was it? Late night poolside.
And that is what it is. It is dark out, and they sit next to the pool.
I thought it was kind of cute, though. I like there's a super cute music that was playing, talking about like love or finding love or whatever the guy was singing about.
And they sit on the chairs. They're like, oh, I've never sat on these chairs. That's what they're here for. It's like, yeah, no duh. That's what chairs are for.
It's like, that's what you do in a chair. You sit. Whoa.
But then he asks her out on another date.
But he was also like a little bit more nervous, or I don't know if the word is awkward. He was just a lot different than he usually is, his confident Uchi self. And I loved it. It was so cute. I couldn't handle it.
I like Uchi. I'm sort of on the fence with Minori. I don't find her particularly interesting. So if I had been able to pick, I would have picked him to go out with Mizuki, because then I could have my two faves together. Yay! So I'm like not super excited that like he go along with Minori, but like the moment was so cute.
I just like the moment. It was adorable.
Especially if you compare it to like how she was acting with Yuki, and then this moment, because like he's sitting there and he's like really shy and kind of bashful all of a sudden, and she is so animated. Like she was like grinning her like head off and just like laughing, and she just
like teasing him about why are you so quiet, why are you so different than usual, what's going on. He brought out like a different side of her. Yeah, she like looked so happy, and was like, okay, I get it now, like this is a part that we haven't seen. Like on the date he's like, yeah, you're like my little brother, but they obviously really enjoy each other's company and they're comfortable with each other. Right. Which I wonder if like the reason that he's been calling her like little brother or like boya, that sort of thing, like I wonder if like he's teasing her because he likes her, like he probably those, those things where you're like, I don't want to make myself seem too obvious like this person, so I'll seem like sort of aloof, but I'll still call you like kind of a friendly pet name to like have like we have this close bond. It's platonic, but we're still like close, and being like, you're like my little brother, or like you're our kid, sort of. I thought it was a good ending to the episode.
Yeah.
I mean, different compared to before where we're like with Makoto and Yuriko and it's kind of like this weird, awkward. So like, did she tell him that she likes him or what? But here we get clearly, hey, let's go on a date. Okay. Very, very contrasting ends. Opposite ends.
He was already like, and here's what I have in mind. Here's what we can do.
Yeah.
So he seemed like obviously had put a lot of thought into it. And it was really cute at the end. She's just like, okay, I'm going to go report back. See ya. And like gets up and like, I'm going to go tell the other girls what happened.
And he's like, okay.
He's just like, okay. But yeah, it was cute.
The only thing I'm disappointed by is that I thought everyone was going to get like in the pool and have a fun time. That was not what happened in this episode.
Well, unfortunately, Courtney, this is week 8. So they started filming in probably July.
Oh,
so we're probably already in September.
It's still hot-ish in September.
It's still hot-ish, but you know how Japanese people are.
The season has changed now.
If the calendar says that it's autumn, they are there in their sweaters and the jackets, even if it is not sweater and jacket weather.
Yeah, I guess you're true. Gotta stick by them 4 seasons or whatever.
Yep. That's honestly, like, how it always amused me so much. It'd be like spring, early summer, and we would get like a heat wave, and I'd be wearing like a t-shirt and a skirt, walking around. It's real hot, and like the heaters would still be on the trains, and everybody would be wearing jackets, and it'd be like, it is 75 degrees.
Yeah, no.
What are we doing?
It is too hot.
They're like, the spring equinox hasn't happened yet.
It's still
can't
winter.
Put away the jackets.
Hey, well, I mean, they would keep the trains a bit too hot in the winter. At least, for me at the time, like I'd have to, as soon as the train started pulling up, I had to start unbuttoning my jacket, take off my scarf and stuff, or else I get overheated on the train.
Honestly, the worst part about the train was just it's so gross in the winter when you're like, especially if you were like going like to central Tokyo on the Yamanote-sen or like the Keihin-toku-sen, and so it'd be packed, and like the heaters are blasting, and you're just crammed in there, and like the windows have gotten fogged up and have started to drip with condensation. And it's even worse if it's raining and everyone has their umbrellas, so it's just so humid on the train.
Blech, gross.
It's so gross. Yeah, in the summer, I always have to go to like, the fully air conditioned cars, but in the winter, it's like, where is the weak air car? That's the one. Can't handle the heat. Give me some cool air. I just like
to take advantage of the like women's only carts.
Those are so nice
because it was a lot less crowded, and even if it was crowded, like women are smaller than men and take up less space. What an idea.
It was always so quiet on the women's car, and it always smelled really good.
Of course it did. Yes.
Because I lived for the last like year and a half, I lived on the Saikyo line, which is not to brag or anything. It's the #1 train line in Tokyo for train molesters and gropings.
Yay!
So it's the only, because the Yamanote and the Keihin-toku don't have women's only cars. It's just like specific lines.
The Keihin Tohoku had it.
Oh, that's true, but they only did it during,
it was only
like,
it was only certain hours.
Yeah, like during peak rush hour, and you could not pay me money to take that line during peak rush hour. But a couple of times I would end up on the Saikyo line because they had it in the evenings. They had like wider times because it was a bigger problem. And I ended up on it a couple of times. It was really funny when a guy would get on and he would like realize what he'd done, but it was too late because the doors closed so fast. And he would like, sometimes there wouldn't be enough room for him to get into the other car, and he would just stand there like pressed up against the door, like looking so like apologetic and bashful.
Oh, I was wondering what, like, I always wonder, like, who really reinforces that? Like, okay, women's only car and a guy gets on, like.
Nobody does, but it's that same thing where, like, that, compels people to line up neatly, so the doors open and the people can get off, and then you'll file in.
True.
It's just that's the rule, so we're going to follow it.
Just that's the rule.
I want to say that maybe did ride it once, and there was, like, obviously a guy who was just hanging out in there, who had no intention of leaving. But most people, when they realized they had gone onto the women's only car,
they would hop off at the next stop
and then go to another car.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't think when I would write on it, my timing for the class was like just at the end of the timing for the rush hour / women's only thing. So it was like, it wasn't crowded at all. It was great.
Yeah, it was always really nice though, because everyone smelled good. It smelled like nice perfume.
Isn't that the best?
It's the best. Yeah, and it never was as crowded, so you were just like,
but
my
other than that,
space.
I enjoyed this episode. I did not look up what next episode is supposed to be called, though.
Well, glad you asked. So next time we'll be talking about episode 9, which is called, are you ready?
Ooh, I don't know if I am. Are you?
Drum roll. It's called What a Good Day! Exclamation point!
Oh, that's positive. I like that.
Yeah, that's nice. It ends on an optimistic note, because you have these two dorks going on a second date, and then it's just like the next time it's like, what a good day!
Oh,
Things
okay.
are bright.
I'm looking forward to that.
We're in love. Everything's good.
I don't know,
Stuff is
though,
great.
what's Makoto going to do to mess it all up now that since he seems to be the one bringing everyone down lately.
They'll open up the next episode, and it'll be the ending with, like, Minodi's like, I'm gonna go tell the girls, and runs off, and Uchi's left sitting there kind of smiling to himself, and then around the corner there's Makoto sticking his head out.
Oh, no! With his cigarette in his hand.
Yep. But yeah, so that episode will be out on September 2nd.
It seems so far away.
Feels so far away, and yet
I mean,
it
but
is not.
it seems like we've done so many, but I think we say this every single time. Like, we've done so many episodes, but we have so much more to go.
I know. But yeah, so that will be out September 2nd.
Woo!
As always, please rate and review us on iTunes, follow us on Twitter, or like us on Facebook. Please email us at terraceneighborspodcast@gmail.com. We did get an email. Very happy about that. But I'd like to get a couple more. And then maybe with the 10th episode, we can do some
Email
talks,
readings. That would be fun.
email readings, answer some of the questions or comments, or just your own feedback, observations. Because this is our episode 7. So that gives, another 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
It's really that far ahead? Wow.
For episode 10, well, I mean, a little bit less, but I'd say, you have, another month to think of something.
Oh, yeah, that's lots of time. Lots and
That's
lots
of time. And
It might go by fast, though.
It's definitely going to go by fast. But yeah, and then you can go to terraceneighbors.com for all of that informational, the links, etc. Yeah, this has been a pretty short episode, but I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everything was, they just straight to the point. There wasn't, too much crazy extra stuff.
Yeah, this episode did kind of feel like it was building up for something else.
And we'll see next time. Ooh.
We'll see next time. What's the good day? What's going to happen?
As long as I have a good day, too. That's all I care about.
Whenever we watch it, we also have to have a good day. That's the law.
It's the rule.
It's the rule?
You can't break the laws.
They'll send you to Terrace House.
Terrace jail.
Terrace jail. The controversial next season of...
Oh, wow. Yeah. I bet a lot of people tune in for that.
It's even more like Persona 5.
There's even a cat guy. Or whatever, a cat.
Guy. Maybe Persona 5 is just Terrace jail.
We figured it out.
We figured it out.
You're welcome, everybody. We told you the secret of Persona 5.
It is Terrace House, but Terrace jail. No spoilers. Spoiler-free zone. Play Persona 5. It's a good game.
It really is. I'm still super behind, though.
You need to finish that game, Courtney.
I'm trying. There's too many games to play.
Finish it. I've been playing the Yakuza games, which are real good if you've lived in Tokyo.
You do a lot of the karaoke, right?
Yeah, there's karaoke mini games. You can go to restaurants and order food that, replenishes your HP, but it's very realistic. So, if you go to, the cheapo gyudon place, you buy it from the machine out front, as opposed to, a nicer place where you go in and sit down at the restaurant and order your food.
That's cool.
It's karaoke. And just one real quick tangent before we go.
Yeah.
When I started playing Yakuza 0, when you get first gain control of the character Kiryu, you're walking down the street in, their version of Kabukicho. And even though it's the 80s, so it's I've never been to Kabukicho, so I can't compare. But it definitely feels 80s.
Oh,
but
nice.
You walk past the pachinko parlor, and as you walk past, the doors open because they're motion sensor. and the wall of sound comes out.
Oh, yeah. And the smoke.
The sound was so true to life that I burst into tears.
Aww.
It made me so homesick. This is like within the first like 10 minutes of the game. Aww. It was like literally they're just like, get from point A to point B. And I'm like, okay. And then I just like walk and the pachinko's like, ding. And then psh. And I was like, it sounds like home.
My home, my people. I've never played pachinko, but still.
Well, we couldn't. If we got caught in a pachinko parlor, we'd be deported.
That is true. I just stick with UFO crane games. I don't need no pachinko to fulfill my gambling needs.
Yeah, though across the street from the English conversation school where I taught, they had a pachinko parlor, and I would start work at like 8 o'clock, and I would get there a little bit earlier so I could eat breakfast. And the pachinko parlor, I don't think opened till about 10, but there would always be people waiting out front.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Every day.
I didn't realize it was that serious. Okay.
Well, gambling's a disease.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
Sad. But yeah, so we got our tangent in.
So we always get one in.
We get one in. I was like, we've been too on track today. There's something, we got to get something in. Talking about women's only cars, video games, and pachinko.
All the important, points.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add, Courtney?
Nothing that I can think of at the moment, no.
Okay. Well then. Well, as always, thank you for listening. We appreciate it.
Yep. I'm looking really forward to your questions coming in, hopefully, over the next month or so. That'd be awesome.
That'd be real cool. Thank you for giving us an hour out of your fortnight to listen to us ramble. We will see you again in 2 weeks.
Yep.
To talk about episode 9 of Boys and Girls in the City. So we will see you then.
See you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.